Welcome to True Preparedness. Today we're talking shovels. Many of you may have had a shovel like this. You pulled out from the dumpster, tried to put a handle on, and it just didn't quite fit together. Today we're going to look at a wide variety of shovels we have over here, from the one your grandpa may have had to some newer models that are not super expensive, but ones that will last a lot longer than your traditional $20 one from, say, Home Depot or Lowe's. So we're going to introduce our expert. My name is Jerome, and Andrew's going to be our expert here, and we're going to ask him a few series of questions about what he likes or what he looks for in a shovel that he would like to buy that might last more than a year. Something we can get a few more years, maybe 10 years out of it, last as close that we think is a lifetime.
Great, Jerome. Well, thanks for having me on. You're right, this is kind of like your grandfather's shovel, and I love to go to old shops and I love to go to shops that have these, what do they call them? The shops that
antique stores,
yeah, antique
garage
stores,
sales, all have your old grandpa's type shovel made way back when.
Right. You will notice that there are a couple of key features about these that really make them sturdy. The old hickory handles tended to last a lot longer than what we get in modern shovels. Modern shovels, we can pick these up for cheaper, but we've lost a lot from what we used to get from our grandfather's days. These shovel handles just don't last. The wood is newer, it's not quite as sturdy and solid. This one has been broken a couple times because we're out there prying on a rock or a root or something. This one we've repaired using epoxy and several screws, but this shovel will never be as strong as a real solid, good old-fashioned hickory handle used to be. You can notice too that the shovel shape of the shovel head is very important. The old-fashioned shovel heads were made from a really thick, very strong steel. Notice that the thickness of it here. This one has actually been welded. Jerome pointed out it has actually been welded, this handle connection part to the head, and it's very sturdy and very thick. This kind of shovel can go all day long, and it never bends right here where the foot hits the shovel. These newer varieties, they save on steel by just bending back a small portion to try to make them more comfortable. This, after a few years of hard work, has actually been bending further over. In the example of this is what you might find at a hardware store these days. You'll pay,
These are
a cheaper
under
price for it.
These are between $14 and $18, so under the $20 mark at Home Depot or Lowe's, your typical standard hardware store. This is one we pulled from the dumpster and attempted to put a handle on, but it just never is quite the same, and for this price point, they're almost not even worth keeping around. It's, there's other options that you can buy that are better.
So how do you know when you're walking through the hardware store if you've got a good quality shovel or something that's closer? Just put it onto the ground and just give it a little push. Did you see that flex there? This thing is so cheap and flimsy that it actually bends just by putting the weight of our foot on it. Watch now with some of these other, now this one is also a hardware store brand. It's a little bit better steel, and it gives a little bit more strength to it. But you get one that's really old-fashioned like your grandfather used to have, and this thing is built like a tank. You could drive over this with a car and it wouldn't bend. But you can't buy these in stores anymore. At least I haven't seen them. Fortunately, you can get some knowledge about what to look for. This is a typical wear pattern in a shovel. As you wear a shovel even more, you'll start to wear this out further, until it gets to have that kind of W shape to it, or M
Even
shape.
the flat shovels here, they've got wear. You can see where the metal has actually broken down here because it's all jagged, where it's actually broken off.
Yeah. So check for the thickness of the steel, because you will actually be wearing down the steel. This looks like it's about the same thickness as this cheaper shovel, but if you'll notice, it has a rounded edge to it. In the olden days, they actually shaped their shovels and sharpened their shovels. These days, we just have kind of a flat edge to it, and it's a different kind of steel. This steel is a much thicker, harder steel. This one is quite a bit softer and more flexible. So, Jerome, show us what you found here lately in the hardware stores.
So, going to get the handle for this one replaced, thinking, oh, $10 ought to replace the handle, and just realized this wasn't worth it.
So that was a pretty good fiberglass handle. It's got a good grip to it. Gives you some
It is a
comfort.
decent one. Now, this is actually not a handle for a shovel. This one, actually, I found out later by looking at the sticker that's kind of worn off. This goes to your postal digger. So one of the downside is there's no tapered neck in here that makes this fit. It's all kind of one size, and so it
didn't fit up to the shovel head as well.
Didn't quite go as long and fit up, and so, but being that this is an inferior shovel, I saw this one on the rack next door. So this is a fiberglass handle. It does have a nice rubberized grip on top that helps out. The other advantage is there's no rivet because it has been crimped on with this crimp through here, and then there is a steel tang that comes up through here and gives this reinforcement
both inside and outside of the hollow handle.
Then you'll also notice, like the old-fashioned shovel, this is very much thicker. And they call this the comfortable step.
I love this part because if you've been working on a shovel for a long time, especially if your shoes are a little bit softer, right down the middle of the inseam, stepping on one of these shovels, like this one here, you can actually start to get a bruise in the middle of your foot as it steps on that all day long, especially if you're dealing with hard dirt. Working that in can just really take can make you painful with your foot. This here gives you a solid inch and a half down to a full inch, and you can step on that all day long and just really work on that without it hurting your foot, and it transfers a lot of your foot force into the shovel to drive that right through any hard, tough ground and get the job done easier.
So this is a brand that's Kobalt. You can't really see it here. It's stamped into the side of the shovel here. This is a Lowe's brand.
So that's a Kobalt brand?
Yeah, Kobalt brand. This is something you find at Lowe's, and this thing retails for $29.99, so $30.
That's amazing, because this cheap shovel that we were
Is
just
18.
talking about is around $18 or $20. So for just a little bit more, you get much more shovel out of it.
So the other advantage to a fiberglass handle is it's a little bit heavier because you've got a heavier thing, but the handle is a little bit lighter
Compared to a wood handle.
compared to wood handle.
Sure.
This one has the metal inside that reinforces the handle. There's no reinforcement here. Now, fiberglass, over time they can wear out. You can break them if you
Yes.
overabuse them. Any shovel will break if you overabuse them. But if you look at
If you drive over it with a car or something.
But if you look at some shovels, like for example this shovel here, you can see how the handle's crooked. If you look closely, you can see this one's starting to break. It's got lots of good use out of it. You can see the notches down here. This is a well-used shovel, but eventually it wears out. The fiberglass handles have the benefit of that they don't accept moisture like a wood handle will. They don't tend to want to bend and stuff like that unless you run them over or with the tractor or something super heavy that crushes the fiber inside the thing.
I think that they're generally cheaper too. I think that might be one of the reasons why they're able to produce this shovel for $35. I think if it had a real good solid hickory handle on it, it'd probably be closer to $50.
So if you go to Home Depot and you buy the next step up from this one, that would say have a decent handle like this one, you'll find that this one will range about $25. And they will go up to as much as $45 for a good handle, but they'll have a rubber grip like this one has onto it.
Okay. And probably you wouldn't recommend the $45 one. I mean, you would only recommend the $45 one because they tend to cut a lot of corners with the head. You know, thinner, cheaper steel, more flexible, like we saw with this one.
So when you get this is the $18 one. If you get the next step up from this one, the handle's a little bit stiffer on it. You get a little bit thicker metal that doesn't bend, similar to the other shovel. This one here this one right here is simply
that's more of a name brand shovel, right?
Version up from this one. This one says John Deere, and so it is considered name brand. The difference between these two is they look like they're made by the same company. So if you look closely, the back of the shovel has the same step pattern, slightly different. The front of the shovel, you have this stippling right here that gives it more wear or grip so you don't wear this out. They both have been crimped on. This one has this extra rubbery grip here, and they both have the metal thing that goes through both sides. This one here, we got at Ace Hardware, and this retails for $42, whereas this one here is $30. So this is $11 more than what this one is, but they're very similar, very comparable shovels. In my opinion, both of these shovels will last much longer than the wood shovel, as long as you take care of them.
Do you think that this heavy-duty paint coating helps keep this shovel cleaner? Do you think that's an upgrade?
They actually add a paint coating that allows this to be more slippery. Oftentimes you'll be digging in clay, and clay will stick to your shovel, and so they'll try to add an extra layer that makes it slippery, so that sticky dirt that you might have around your property will tend to stick to the shovel more than anything. Oh man,
I've had that before, where it just clods up on your shovel, and pretty soon you've got a super heavy shovel that's not letting go of the dirt, and you can't really get the job done.
And here's an example of one where some of the dirt's still sticking to it. The clay dirt that we've used around here on the property. You can also get the same shovels in both a heavier duty or flat shovel. Now, this one does weigh about the same, both weigh about the same, but this one feels just a hair heavier, and I don't know if it's because of the extra rubber or the metal slightly thicker.
They're about the same weight as this old-fashioned one, but it's got quite a bit more steel with these comfort steps on it. And with the reinforcement here, those are quite a bit bigger and beefier. These padded ends add a little bit of weight too, but boy, they sure are nice when you're having to work on it all day long.
Well, you know, especially this one where you have the extra grip, where you're gripping right here, you got the padded grip, and then you've got your grip back here. These things make it very nice when you're trying to, for example, you're over here, trying to dig in your paper gravel pit, say you're going to get the wheelbarrow out and mix some concrete. You know, a good flat shovel gets to that. You're just trying to clear off and make a flat spot, having something sturdy and strong that's not going to fall apart, because this rock is pretty heavy. This is 3-inch sinus rock, and so it takes a good heavy-duty shovel to plow through this.
Yes, this old-fashioned shovel works great, and it has seen many good years of valuable use, but it does kind of give a bit when you're really working into some hard soil. And you can tell that the metal's gotten thin by scraping it for so many years. These sides here with the sharp edge corners can really dig in deep. I'm pretty impressed with these. I think that these will give some good use. Notice the shape of them. This one has a little bit more of a deep side to it. This has more of a cut, like a diamond cut. It's almost chamfered to it. It won't hold quite as much dirt, but it's wider. That gives you that makes up for it not being quite as deep. And I'd say that if you're dealing with landscaping and flattening things out, this will be a great tool.
Advantage price is it's only 30 bucks and it won't break the bank, where this one is comparable, but this one's another $10 more.
Yeah.
But they're both, you know, could be made by the same company, just slightly a bit different for branding for each different brand, you know.
Yeah, I would say this does have some extra nice features. The non-stick paint on it, the extra grip here, but I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this shovel for the amount of savings that you would get. I'll tell you what, when you've got to really go at any kind of project around the farm or homestead or work project, having a great shovel is sure important. And this brand that's just easy to find at the local Lowe's sure beats or matches all of the critical pieces of all the other name brand shovels that you're paying extra for.
So this one here, we got at your local Ace Hardware. This one here, as we said, comes from Lowe's. That cheap shovel with the red handle, I believe, comes from Home Depot. It's their $14.95 special. And then the wood ones we've just collected throughout the years. They've seen many good uses, but we'd like to know what kind of shovels you guys use and what you found is useful. That's lasted a lifetime for you. So reply down in the comments that are right below and let us know what shovels you prefer, so that other people can learn from your example of what gardening tools or construction tools that you have. And this will conclude this episode of True Preparedness.